and Jags.
That is awesome.
All caps presented by New Era. Nate, I gotta tell you, New Era outdid themselves.
They're coming with it.
What? These are the most amazing hats I've seen yet.
Do you have a favorite?
No, I love them all. You guys like the rope on the front, huh?
This
Rope's
one right
cool.
here. This
Yeah,
one right
I also like some netting.
The netting?
Buccaneers one was
I
really
do
good.
too. This is a nice light one.
Love these
Oh.
cap.
Fire. Hey,
Bud Grant would wear this.
Yeah.
New Era. Let me get all of these.
Okay,
All 32.
anyway, what do we got today?
on
What do
to
we
the-
got?
Come on,
What
man.
are we talking about?
Well,
They don't wear it if you give it to
What
them.
do we got? We got everything.
Okay.
From brand new starters
Yeah.
to 20-year veterans lining up under center this week. Grab the cap of the team with the QB who has the most on the line in week 3.
I'll jump out of the gates here. We're talking about Daniel Jones in New York. How about Dwayne Haskins? Is it time? Like, the Redskins are 0-2, 2 divisional losses. You start going 0-3, you start wondering, okay, well, what is our season? Now that we've seen Jones forced into the lineup, maybe it's time we see Haskins. Keenum's played well. He and Terry McLaurin have had a nice little thing going, and I think the Redskins have moved the ball on offense. But at some point, when you fall behind and you're down 0-3 and you say, okay, let's see the kid. I know the Redskins fans are bubbling up on the message boards. They'd like to see Haskins. Keenum playing fine, but we know what we're getting. I think it might be time for Keenum. If he doesn't win, it might be time for Haskins. So Keenum, ball out, try to get that victory, keep your job.
We haven't talked about Haskins.
haven't.
I love that you brought him up.
The biggest story in New York, and maybe one of the biggest across the nation, is Eli Manning being benched and now Daniel Jones being the starter. So I want to say Daniel Jones, but it's more about what he has on the line and what's behind him, and that's Saquon Barkley. You got to think about it from his perspective. Of course, he wants to come in, play well, take care of the ball, and get a dub. But if he can take the pressure off of this man right here, wouldn't this mean wonders for their relationship moving forward? All of a sudden, Saquon steps in the game. He's thinking to himself, man, I haven't seen this type of defense where we have 7 guys in the box, maybe 6 guys in the box, because for the first time since I've been in the NFL, defenses have to respect my quarterback's legs and his arm. So I think Daniel Jones is approaching this game a little bit differently. If he can come in and save the day, you know what? He might be able to save the relationship that is the most important to him, which is his superstar running back, and that relationship could last a decade or so.
Most on the line. I'm going to look at this game. We can't get enough of Baltimore versus Kansas City. And look at this. 1996. Shout out to Elvis Gerback, maybe, right? This is great. But Lamar, if he goes to Kansas City and he wins this game against the MVP, I mean, he's going to go to the head and beat the Holmes. Guys, he is then sitting on the throne this year. This is the staggering, earth-shattering win where Kansas City loses at home to Lamar. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just Arizona, Miami. He beat the team that went to the title game in the 3rd game of the season. This is, to me, the Hobbs and Shaw game, as we know. But if Lamar wins this thing, like, there's going to be some sort of September coronation, and I'm completely here for it. Lamar, huge stakes.
Huge stakes, huge game. Cannot wait to see Mahomes v. Lamar Jackson. All right, we've got the Panthers and the Cardinals on Sunday. Another guy who uses his legs, and Kyler Murray, very exciting prospect. Not prospect, he's a starting quarterback.
Yeah,
He's 3 weeks in. So, to the media yesterday, Carolina defensive coordinator Eric Washington described Kyler Murray as a nightmare to game plan against. So other than Kyler, let's take him off the board. Nobody grabbed that Arizona hat. Who's the cap of the player who will be a nightmare to go up against in week 3? So I guess, yeah, anybody from that Kansas City.
All right, I'll
no
jump right in.
So many
I'll take you
caps.
to the West Coast with the Los Angeles Rams. Right here it says 1937. Trace, can you tell me the significance of that?
Oh, the old Rams. No, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Oh, the
cool.
Cap New Orleans, yes.
All right, cool. There we go. Here we go.
Mel Hine was against
Aaron Donald.
Oh, yeah?
He's an absolute monster. You know, what we saw this past weekend is him getting after Drew Brees. And, you know, we don't want to see anybody get hurt, especially Drew Brees, the Hall of Famer. But Schrager made a good point. We keep showing the clip of Drew Brees hitting his thumb up against Aaron Donald's hand. The reason that Aaron Donald was there, because he beat his dude one-on-one and got to the quarterback within a split-second time. So for me, it's this individual. It seemed like every year we think, somebody's going to catch up. Or they'll have a game plan. Or, you know, the team's going to come in and figure out a way to stop Aaron Donald. It hasn't happened yet, and it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Is he the scariest D lineman in that game? Because I'm going to go right here, and what we saw the other night from Myles Garrett in the national game was so important. Now, listen, it wasn't just that Myles Garrett had 3 sacks. He had a couple of personal fouls, and I don't condone it, and I don't applaud it. But a little mean streak for Myles Garrett is something that we've been waiting on. He's always had the incredible genetics, the body, and he loves dinosaurs, and he's really smart, investment, and all that. I like seeing some nasty from Myles Garrett. Within the line, sure. But do not, you say don't let a guy get hot. Don't let Myles Garrett get nasty. This could be the 20-sack type of guy. I think he came out in the open as a massive, massive terror in this game, and I think he's going to do it again. Myles Garrett, look the hell out. Defensive Player of the Year coming in hot.
He's going to break a record this year?
The bad record is good.
22 and a half.
Listen, he's at 5 after 2 games.
5.
On pace, guys. I think he's Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe he will chase the record.
There's a cool deal going on with the Saints right now. It's a terrible situation with Drew Brees out, you'd think on paper, but Sean Payton's already got these guys galvanized, and they're up at Washington, the university, practicing all week at University of Washington. They're in this college atmosphere. And how do you game plan when the coach won't even tell you who's starting? Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill are two completely different quarterbacks, two completely different skill sets. And Sean Payton basically, I didn't name a number one yet. You might get 50 plays out of Bridgewater. You might get 20 plays out of Bridgewater. You might get no plays out of Bridgewater. This might be all Taysom Hill. Everyone is penciling in the Seahawks to just take care of business. They're home. They never lose there, and they're against a team without Drew Brees. Watch out, because no one motivates a team like Sean Payton, and no one can game plan an offense up like Sean Payton. I would just say this to defensive coordinators around the league. It's going to be a nightmare trying to prepare for not one quarterback, but two quarterbacks in the way that Sean Payton uses them. I think the Saints are going to be a very interesting pick this week in a lot of circles. I wouldn't be shocked if they came out with that win.
Yeah, who knows? Is Ted Ginn going to be targeted and used more? They have Jared Cook. They've got weapons. It's not just Alvin Kamara. It's not just Michael Thomas. So there's just,
true.
if I'm a defensive coordinator, I have no idea what's going to happen.
I don't know what you're getting.
I would guess Kamara might be in the Wildcat a handful of times, too.
Yeah?
It's almost like they'll have 2.5 quarterbacks. We have no idea. Just empty the bag. Let's go.
How do
That's
you
a
game plan?
must-watch.
That's All Caps by New Era. Up next, you guys are on the lookout for just a bad bunch of dudes.
Bad man.
Bad man.
I don't know what's going on here. What's happening?
We're going to call out the players we most want to show up this weekend, and boy, do the Jets need that guy, because holy crap, that's going to be a tough game.
And
Thanks on Twitter.
He did.
the reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week and the guy who will line up against Daniel Jones on Sunday, Shaq Barrett's joining the
What's up,
show.
Shaq?